Welcome, everyone. My name is Stephen Norris, and I'm a professor of history and director of the Havighurst Center for Russian and Post-Soviet Studies at Miami University in Ohio. And today I'm introducing our latest Creative Horizons event. Creative Horizons is an ongoing collaboration with Arizona State University's Melikian Center and the University of South Florida's Institute on Russia to spotlight art and artists in the former Soviet world. Artists we contact produce a video about their works, and we follow up with a live question and answer session. The series so far has featured Victoria Lamasco, Vladimir Tsiesler, Shabolis Kishpal, Yermina Takanova, and Catherina Babkina. Today's event is a bit different, one prompted by Russia's war on Ukraine. Alisa Lozhkina, an art historian and curator, produced a video spotlighting how Ukrainian artists have responded to the war. Today, we are joined by Alisa and three of the artists. Let me tell you more about them. Alisa Lozhkina is a Ukrainian art historian, critic, and curator. From 2013 to 2016, she served as deputy director of Mistetsky Arsenal, the largest museum and exhibition complex in Ukraine. She also served as the editor-in-chief of the major Ukrainian art magazine, Art Ukraine, from 2010 to 2016. We're joined today by KinderAlbum, a native of Lviv, Ukraine. She studied architecture at the University of Lviv and in Germany. In 2012, she started working under her artist name, KinderAlbum. And in 2013, she presented her first exhibition at the Ziga Gallery in Lviv and has since had her work exhibited throughout Europe. In 2021, KinderAlbum exhibited outside the European continent for the first time as part of an exhibition in Guadalajara, Mexico. We're joined also by Catherina Lisovenko. Born in Kyiv, she has lived and worked in her hometown since then. Lisovenko received a classical art education first at the Grekov Odessa Art School, then at the National Academy of Fine Arts and Architecture in Kyiv. And at the same time, she graduated from the contemporary art course at the Kyiv Academy of Media Arts. Her artistic language began with the inheritance of socialist realist tradition and later transformed into a process of active context redefining. In her practice, Lisovenko addresses power and ideology, as well as the transition from the Soviet to the modern. Finally, we're joined by Igor Gusev. Born in Odessa, Gusev is an Ukrainian artist, poet, author of performances, films, objects, and installations, and a participant and organizer of many art events. He's the leader of the Art Raiders movement and founder of the underground gallery Norma. Gusev has been participating in exhibitions since the early 1990s and is a representative of the new wave of Ukrainian contemporary art. He is a regular participant in major exhibition projects such as Restart, Space Odyssey, Independent, 20 Years of Presence, and Double Game. He lives and works in Odessa. Thank you all for joining us today. Let me start with a question to Alisa, and then also one for everyone, I suppose. In the video you produced for this series, you mentioned how photography was the preferred medium for capturing the Maidan revolution in 2013 and 2014 for artists, but that drawings and sketches are the preferred medium, or at least seem to be the preferred medium for this war. Why is that, do you think? And then for the artists, after Alisa answers, do you agree with this? How is it that drawings and sketches seem to capture this war best?
Thank you so much, Stephen, and thank you everyone for inviting us today for this very important meeting. And unfortunately, the topic of our seminar today is not very cheerful, but such are the times. And yes, regarding your question, it's a very interesting question, actually. I still don't have like profound answers for this question because there is still not enough historical distance from this event. We are still inside this situation, but from my observations, I really feel this complete difference between the language of protests in Maidan in 2013 and 14 and the situation today. I spoke about it briefly during my lectures, that I think that it has something to do with the distrust to photography, which we have in our contemporary society today. With the situation when we started associating like photography with post-truth, and we know how much, how often photography is being used to manipulate us. So in a way, and also there is another explanation to this fact is probably that today, like for most artists, like in the situation of revolution, we had this central event in the center of the city of Kyiv, which was very, in a way, spectacular because the barricades made of ice and all the protesters, they were very, very interesting visually. And there was a lot to capture, like there was a lot to film. But when you are in the situation of the war that is happening in parallel in many places, and a lot of artists are displaced, or a lot of artists are hiding somewhere, or a lot of people in Ukraine are not even allowed to take pictures on the streets because it's considered to be like how to say it, it's not allowed in the war time because it can be used, this footage, for espionage or some other purposes. So in this situation, I see really the dominance of drawing and painting and all other ways of artistic expressions which don't require the document. Of course, we have a lot of photography. We have photographers and artists who work now on the streets of suburbs of Kyiv, in Bucha, in Irpin, who are documenting all the atrocities of the Russian army. There are a lot of contemporary artists who participate in this process. But still, if I may, like from my impression from the social media that I have, still drawings are somehow the most important voice for now from the war in Ukraine. But I'm sure that after some time passes and we will have the ability to calmly analyze this body of works, we will see that all other media are equally important, of course. Thank you.
Curious if some of our artists agree with Alisa's point here, that the drawings and sketches seem to capture a truth that photography and other forms of art do not.
Let me translate it at least to Igor. Тут питання стоїть такого плану. Я у своїй лекції, яка була вступом до цієї нашої зустрічі, я зазначила, що на сьогоднішній день, принаймні за моїми спостереженнями, найбільш домінуючим медіа у рефлексіях щодо війни є малюнок. І що, наприклад, під час революції 13-14 року, я бачила велику домінацію фотографій. Люди ходили на барикади, знімали, що там відбувається, рефлексували таким чином. Сьогодні ми бачимо, що малюнок і скетч стає таким більш адекватним способом говорення про всю цю ситуацію. Чи ви погоджуєтеся? Ну, тобто, власне, питання до наших сьогоднішніх гостей митців, миткінь. Чи ви погоджуєтеся з тим, і чому ви думаєте, якщо ви погоджуєтеся, чому саме малюнок має таку велику силу виражальну в цій ситуації?
Я думаю, що коли був Майдан, люди могли прийти на площу, самі подивитись і прийняти якісь, бути разом з событиями. Але коли йде війна, то люди відчувають, що зараз буде вибух, зараз буде снайпер, і це зовсім друга така степень, другий рівень опасності.
Дякую. So what Igor says is that during the Maidan, there was for the people this possibility to come to the Maidan and to join and to take part in those events. Today, in the situation of the war, there is a completely different level of threat. There is a completely different level of fear. People are sitting and always thinking of snipers who might be shooting into you. So it's a completely different situation. And probably this is the explanation why the drawing is so important. Так? Ще щось додаш? Але чому малюнок? От чому для тебе, власне, малюнок стає таким важливим сьогодні?
Дуже мелка моторика, яка при малюнку застосовується, допомагає прийти в якесь нормальне самопочуття.
So what Igor is saying is that this motorics of the drawing, which it makes him feel much calmer when he's drawing. It makes him feel much less like fear and much more comfortable. Yeah. Дякую. А може KinderAlbum або Катерина нам відповідає, також щось скажуть.
Do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I think that that's also the topic is with photography because there are two genres now, reportage photo and art photo. And the reportage photo is very strong now and important, and it shows all the people, all the world, their real events, and art photo can nothing to said in opposite, yes, competing with this reportage photo. And I also watching some photos of my friends, photographers, what are they doing now, and frankly speaking, they are very weak. I mean, even weaker than their old photos that they made in a peaceful time. Because their art language in this time cannot said so strong messages as reportage photographers can. Okay.
Hello. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for your comment. And Catherina, what about you? What is your opinion about this situation with drawing versus photography?
Oh, I think that now every media can be very strong if people understand how this media works. If you can write something with connecting between feeling and understanding of situation, you will be understanding for other people, and I think that now very important are feeling, because our feels can other people in other place, people who haven't experienced as we have. So this feeling чувства, выраженные посредством какого-либо медиа, могут помочь понять автора, ну, и понять ситуацию, которую ты описываешь. Вот. И я думаю, что не важно, что это рисунок, текст или видео. Я, под впечатлением, например, там, дневника Жени Белорусец или текстов Стаса Турины не меньше, чем рисунками Влады Ралко или KinderAlbum. Вот.
Sorry, Catherina is saying that today it doesn't really matter which media you are using. It is important that you are expressing your feelings, and this helps the audience outside of the country who's not experiencing this trauma of the war directly to understand better what is happening inside in Ukraine. And she also says that for her nowadays, like some, for instance, diaries, war diaries of Evgenia Belorusets, or some texts by another artist, Stanislav Turina, are not less important than, for instance, the word drawings by Vlada Ralko, another important artist who is documenting her experiences through the drawing today. Thank you.
I'd like to, if I can, thank you all. I'd like, if I can, to ask every one of you a question, maybe more than one. And by the way, for the audience, we'll have time for audience questions too. So in the video Alisa produced for this series, Alisa describes KinderAlbum's recent work as both uplifting and heartbreaking. And particularly, as we can see here, your focus on women and women's bodies, combined with allusions to classical myths and classical mythology. With the river Styx, the image here, the Ukrainian Titans holding up the sky. Can you talk to us a little bit more about why you came about this decision to fuse classical imagery with women's bodies? And what do you think the message here is that you want your viewer to understand?
It's a question to KinderAlbum. Kinder? Are you here?
Yes. I'm thinking. Yes, I'm here. I'm thinking. First of all, I'm researching the woman's body in the painting, in drawings, all my art practice, not only now, but from the beginning of my art practice. And that it is because I am a woman and I live my life in the body of woman, and I think that I can better describe women feelings in every situation, and that's why the accent is on women's bodies. And about mythology, it is because all these archetypes and all these narratives that we have through the ages of art history and history of people and people population, how it is, anthropology history, yes. And I think that these archetypes can everybody understands in every country, and with these symbols and this myth language, I can knock in every heart and every door. Do you understand me?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you. Catherina, I'm curious in looking at your recent work too, which Alisa in the video describes the image we see on the left here as the new icon of this war. But in several images, including two we see here, you have the phrase propaganda of the living world. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you mean by propaganda of the living world and how it applies both to your recent art and to this war?
So I studied at faculty of monumental painting, and monumental painting. Our academy have many tradition from Soviet, and the monumental painter is a painter who make ideology visible, who find forms for ideology. And I hated my education one time. But one day I understand that I took a part in a big history. It was tragic history, but I have very strange knowledge and very strange skills, but I can do it, but I can appropriate it. And I started, after my academy, I started make propaganda of my propaganda of world of my dream. So I work as monumental artist, but illegal, not with agree from administration of towns. I made it at night when when anybody can see me, and I make painting in public space with propaganda of women's rights, LGBT propaganda, propaganda of mothers' rights, propaganda against violence, and so on. And now when war started, and it's very interesting because when I started, I made copy many anti-fascist Soviet paintings. So Russia built their mythology on the Soviet win against Nazism, and now they looks like us Nazists, and you can see painting, for example, Plastov or other Soviet artists who work in 30 and 50 last
century, yes.
Last century, yes. And you can see something which now happens in Ukraine. And I make this propaganda of living world against this myth which appropriated Russia. So Russia take heroic myth and Russia destroy with this myth now all life of people, women, men, animal, and tree. No, everything now. Everything now are dying under heroic myth. And I think that skill when you make ideology visible can be appropriated not as instrument of pressure ideology, but instrument for power individual voice. Because Russia have ideology that destroy individual voice and destroy individual thing. And I take instrument which I have as heritage of Soviet world and say what I want.
Thank you so much.
That's a good segue to the question I have for Igor, which is it's quite clear that Igor in his series of World War III, some examples which you see here, is tackling Russian culture, Russian visual culture, familiar to most of us in the field. So I'm curious if Igor could tell us what drew him to Isakhovsky or Surikov or Vasnetsov, examples of which you see here, Pushkin, Dostoevsky, all of whom appear on this slide. What's your commentary going on here? What are you trying to say in these works, in your own words?
Ігор, у своїх роботах ти звертаєшся багато до класичних творів російської культури. Ми бачимо тут картину Айвазовського, ми бачимо Пушкіна, Достоєвського і так далі. Що це для тебе означає? Чому ти працюєш з цим матеріалом? Як ти сам собі це пояснюєш? Тобто, що це означає для тебе?
Ну, ці роботи були у кожному підручнику.
These artworks, when we were growing up, were almost in every textbook.
І тому вони знайомі і українцям, і росіянам.
So from Soviet times, both the Russians and Ukrainians are familiar with these works and with this portrait.
Мої роботи дивляться також люди з Росії.
And also people from Russia are seeing these artworks.
І мені ось сьогодні написав один мій товариш з дитинства, з яким я навчався у художній школі. Він з сім'ї воєнних, і вони зараз живуть у Москві.
Today I got a message from my friend with whom I studied at school, and they his family are from military people, and now he lives in Moscow.
І він мене запитав, як я мог таке зробити з Олександром Сергійовичем Пушкіним.
And he asked me, how could I dare to do something like that with Alexander Pushkin?
Я йому хотів розповісти історію про Пікассо, який відповів німецькому генералу про Герніку, сказав, що це зробили не я, а ви. Але я поняв, що він не зрозуміє моєї відповіді.
I wanted to tell him the story of Picasso, who was responding to one of the German people who asked him why he did Guernica, why he made Guernica, and Picasso said that it was not me who did it, it was you. So, but I realized that if I say something like that to my friend, he won't probably be able to understand me even.
І що його дуже образило те, що у Івано-Франківській назвали Пушкіна Джодесеном і знесли цей пам'ятник.
Yeah, and also this same friend of mine was very upset that people in Uzhgorod destroyed the monument to Alexander Pushkin and called Alexander Pushkin Jodesen, this famous singer from 70s.
І він мені сказав, що скоро це зроблять і в Одесі, але я сказав, що це не факт, бо...
Ігор, ти затуляєш камеру, я тебе не чую. Ігор, алло. Ігор, ти можеш ще раз сказати, будь ласка, бо немає звуку. Алло. Перевір, будь ласка, ти, може, затуляєш мікрофон, або, може, виключив мікрофон. Щось трапилося зі звуком. Алло? Перевір, будь ласка. I'm sorry for that. It seems Igor has some problems, either with his connection or maybe he accidentally pressed this microphone, but I don't think that he's muted now.
Right. That's okay. We can move on to another question. Maybe he can restore his sound here. I wanted to ask
Він сказав, що в Одесі не факт, що знесуть Пушкіна. Це була його остання фраза.
Yeah. So the last phrase that we heard from Igor was that this friend of his was questioning if it would be possible to ruin the monument to Alexander Pushkin in Odessa, and Igor said that he doubts it. But now we don't know what he wanted to say in general about all the situation. Unfortunately, I hope he restores his connection soon.
While we're waiting, I did want to ask all of you. So you're not just obviously Ukrainian artists. You're Ukrainian citizens living and working during a horrific war. You're joining us from Odessa, from Lviv, from Poland. So if I could ask you each to tell us a little bit about how you're working now, what conditions are shaping your daily life in terms of work and life itself. Tell us a little bit, in other words, about your stories during this war. Maybe we can go back to Catherina while Igor restores his volume.
Katya?
Just 1 minute, please. I have problem with my phone. I must relocate, and I with children in other country. I had never been in Austria early, but it's good that then I studied Germany, and I know Germany language. It's make my way here easier. But when you have 2 children and you're relocated, it's very difficult. I don't know how to describe it. I try do something. No, I try read something and make art, and I try find myself with my practice. But I lost everything. I lost my books, which live in apartment which I rented, and my things was как-то выброшены.
Thrown. All her possessions were thrown.
My things was thrown with when owner of flat returned to Kyiv, and my young brother went to army, and my young sister now find work in Europe. I don't know how explain it, and I work with psychotherapist because I have psychosomatic pain. But I'm happy that here in Europe I meet people who understand me. And my children asked me, Mom, you promised us that we buy fish with aquarium, and I understand now that no, I don't know when we can do it, because aquarium need a flat which you will live 1 year or longer. So what?
Yeah. Thanks so much for this, Catherina. And I also wanted to add that Catherina already had an exhibition in Poland after her first residence in Zielona Góra in Poland, and she showed her amazing works which she created since the beginning of the war. And I think it was an awesome show, and I'm sure that more and more shows are yet to come, because today Catherina is one of the most important and powerful voices from the war in Ukraine.
Maybe Kinder, you can tell us a little bit about your work these days, how you are working, how you are managing this crisis.
My situation is I am living in Lviv. Now any city in Ukraine isn't very safe, because Russia has this their ballistic rockets, and already there were 3 bombings in Lviv also, and almost every day we have these air raid alerts, and I am living here with my son. He is 13 years old, and also he has autism. And that's why also I decide not to go anywhere from Lviv, because for persons with autism, it is very important to have this familiar environment and rituals and all these everyday things that they need, and that to make their life more comfortable. And I make another bed for him in the hall, in the corridor of our flat. And in the night, for example, if there is this sirens, this air alerts, he goes to sleep in the hall. And also I'm drawing, and I make ceramics in my flat. And what next? I do not have my work now in Lviv, my job, because I also have salary for teaching children drawing, but now a lot of children go in Europe, and I do not have these lessons now. I have exhibition in Berlin that was planned before the war, and now it becomes rather successful because a lot of people in Berlin are interested in Ukraine, and they go to this exhibition even not because of me, but because it is Ukrainian artists. And what next? So that's all, maybe.
Thanks so much, Kinder. And I also want to add that Kinder also has her exhibition now in Lviv in one of the galleries which are reopening after, like, not after, but during this whole war, because there are so many people in Lviv who are refugees and who are displaced that the local institutions feel the need to somehow organize some even exhibitions and some activities for all those who are now hiding in Lviv and who came there from other parts of the country. And I think that KinderAlbum is also one, like, her works are so viral today, and I understand that it's partially due to the interest towards Ukraine, but the same as with Catherina, I hope that this interest prevails, because these are really amazing Ukrainian artists worth to be known more.
I think and hope Igor has restored his.
Igor,
he can tell us a little bit about himself in Odessa, as I understand.
Yeah, Igor is in Odessa. Igor, ти тут? Igor Gusev. Ти нас чуєш? I'm sorry about that, but I think that his connection, I don't even know if he's online now.
He is. Here he is.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello.
Yes, Igor.
I hear.
О, perfect. Ігор, ти не міг би закінчити свою попередню думку коротко і розказати нам, в яких умовах ти сьогодні працюєш в Одесі? Як твої, взагалі, яка твоя ситуація, як ти справляєшся з цим всім, як влаштовані твої дні, ну, щось таке з місця подій, скажімо так.
Ми готуємось к тому, що Путін перебрасує много військ на юг.
We are preparing that Putin is transferring a lot of troops to the south of Ukraine.
І тепер і зараз в нас не буде так спокійно, як було до сих,
So it was relatively calm earlier, but we are all afraid that it can be not so calm, and it might be some escalation might happen.
Вибухи все ближче і ближче.
The explosions are more and more near.
І натхнення зараз за вкусом адреналину.
Yeah, and there is this inspiration today with the flavor of adrenaline.
Yes. І ось учора був День освобождения Одессы.
Yesterday we had an anniversary of liberation of Odessa from Nazi troops.
Во Второй мировой войне.
During the Second World War.
Вот. И в нас объявили комендантский час на 2 суток.
And a curfew was announced for 2 days.
Бо в Одесі люди би вийшли к пам'ятникам, і це було би дуже погано для них закінчилося би.
Yeah, because people might go out to the streets and to the monuments, and it might end in a very dangerous way for them.
Ось. А що до моєї творчості?
And what about my artworks and my creative activity?
Я маю багато нових ідей.
I have so many new ideas.
Але зараз не час для них.
But now it's not the time for them.
Тому що я не боюсь образити росіян, я боюсь так, щоб мої роботи добре сприймалися моїми побратимами і сусідами, ну, з якими я живу здесь.
Yeah, and it's important for me. I don't think so much about like hurting Russians or something like that. It's much more important for me that my artworks would be perceived well by people who are here around me. Дякую. I also want to add that Igor has been active in probably all Ukrainian turbulences, and it's. I was thinking recently that it would be very interesting to maybe in future to publish a book about Igor's creative activity, not during only this war, but during the previous revolution on Maidan in 2014, because Igor was extremely active writing poetry back then, because Igor is also a poet. And I wrote a preface to one of his catalogs where he was like also including his short hokku. It was like this Japanese style poetry about revolution. And I think that all his feedback about Ukrainian events and political turbulences is extremely interesting and extremely valuable, not only as an artwork, but also as a document of our time.
I have your text as the best.
Thank you.
Thank you all. There's time now for questions from the audience. If any have some questions, you can either use the Q&A function or just type in the chat. I'll pause if anyone wants to ask one. And if not, maybe Golfo Alexopoulos, one of our co-hosts, can pose a question too.
I'll ask a brief question while our audience thinks of a question. Could you tell us, please, if you lost any work in the war, and what materials, because an artist's materials are so important, what materials are you using now? Were you able to kind of hold on to any of your tools that you use to produce your work?
I'll translate briefly. Тобто питання про те, чи втратили ви якісь роботи протягом цієї війни, а також дуже важливі зараз, дуже цікавий момент, це матеріали, які використовуєте, створюючи ваші роботи сьогодні. Можна в будь-якому порядку відповідати. Ігор?
Я имею очень много каталогов, книжек, которые я могу рвать с утра до вечера. Вот.
Igor says that regarding the materials which he is using, he has so many artworks and books in his library that he can tears them like apart every day, and it's like an endless source of inspiration and materials for his works.
Вот, и если я буду иметь проблемы с материалами, я могу выйти на староконный, на барахолку и купить много книг, которые стоят 5 центов.
And if he runs out of materials, he can always go to a flea market, local famous flea market in Odessa, which is called Starokonny Rynek, and buy any books that cost not more than 5 cents there. So for him, it's like not a big deal.
Yes, так что I not have problem.
Igor, we have a question to you. Igor, у нас є питання до тебе. Як би ти сказав, яка твоя найулюбленіша робота з цієї твоєї останньої серії, і який там головний меседж цієї роботи?
Можна я відповім так, що в мене є робота любима.
Ти можеш російською говорити.
Что у меня есть любимая работа, но она каждый день новая.
I have favorite artworks, but every day it's a different artwork, and every day it's a new artwork, which is my favorite.
Тут в этой серии я изучаю выход из зоны табу, которая вот война нас.
In this series, I'm exploring this exit from the zone of taboo, to which this war pushed us.
Я в обычной жизни я делаю очень милые работы.
I'm doing a very nice and cute works in normal life.
А сегодня я понял, что я не могу по-другому, потому что сегодня норма совсем другая.
And today I realized that I cannot work otherwise because the new normal is different, and the norm has changed.
И я даже не знаю, какая будет следующая работа, как она меня удивит.
And I don't even know what the new artwork will be like, and how it will impress me, and how it will shock me.
Да, и по поводу утерянных работ.
Regarding the lost artworks, I don't know.
Пока нет.
So far, I have everything with me. Everything is okay.
Пока нет.
Thank you, Igor. Дякую, Ігоре. Catherina, what about you? The artworks, maybe you lost some artworks, and what media, what instruments and what materials are you using?
Oh, many of my artworks stay in Ukraine in my studio, which I rent in the government building, and collectioner helped me evacuate my work to Uzhhorod, but only not biggest work, and not all work, and many my sketches, my diary, my sketchbook, and my biggest work, my diploma and my big panno stay in my studio, and I had conversation with our director. Then I will send pay, and they stay my work at studio. But this building, because building как бы принадлежит?
Belongs.
Belongs to government, was used. This building used Ukrainian soldiers, and now there are stab of soldiers, and my works was thrown from my studio, but my friend take them, and now but I don't know. My friend take all or something, and now my works stay in his flat. And when I was at Poland, I worked too, and director of Galleria gave me material and studio for work. And now my work, which I made in Poland, stayed in Poland because they bigger. I didn't know that in Europe you can't send work which bigger than 1.5 meter. And I stay this work in Galleria, but soon I will have exhibition in Białystok, and the Galleria in Białystok, institution in Białystok had their own car, and they helped me. They took out work from Beva and transported to Bialystok, and after that they sent me this work at Austria. So, but I haven't fled for a long time, and I will move from flat to flat with children, cat, and work. Now I have a studio too and make new work, but I don't know what and how I can transport it.
Thank you so much, Catherina. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I hope things get better soon. Kinder, what about you? Your materials that you are using, and if you lost any artworks?
I'm working with no, I'm in Lviv, and I didn't lost any works. I'm working now with the very simple materials that I can use in my apartment, watercolor, pastels, some markers. I cannot make large-scale paintings, for example, because I used to make them in my studio that is 30 kilometers from me in another, in a little village near Lviv. And that's why I'm making art that I can make in my apartment. Also, I work with clay, and maybe near future there will be ceramics, new ceramic works. Also, as Igor said, that it is very interesting that you cannot plan any works, any future works, because it is like diary that you heard news, you are living in this news, in this history, and all these works just born out of them. And for example, that there were these awful events in Bucha, and I just cannot draw anything about this about a week or 2 weeks. And then yesterday I have drawn this new drawing that you can see in my social medias. So for me, there must be some time to reflect, and then I can draw something. Yes, thank you.
There is a question from our audience to all three of you. Do you have your websites, and where can people see your work? Я перекладу для Ігоря. Тут у нас є питання щодо до усіх учасників і учасниць. Чи є у вас свої власні вебсайти, де взагалі можуть наші гості подивитися ваші роботи? I already see that KinderAlbum sent her website in the group chat.
У меня есть igorgusev.com.
igorgusev.com, yes, it's Igor's website. What about you, Catherina?
I posted my work on Instagram. I have a site, but I can say a link of my portfolio. Google Doc for my, with my portfolio, and I can send link to my Instagram.
Thank you. I think we already have it. Thank you so much.
I'm posting the Instagram links in the chat while we're talking.
1 minute. Сейчас.
While she's posting it, let me say, since we're at time, Alisa, we read your essay in the LA Review of Books a few weeks ago, and we're so moved by it, not just for your own personal story, but the way you were able to talk about Ukrainian artists and what they are doing and how they're working and what their work means during this war. So it's been an honor, really a pleasure to talk to Igor, Catherina, KinderAlbum, all of whom we met online via this essay you wrote. And now we've been able to hear their voices tell us a little bit more about the meanings of their work. Thank you all very much for joining us. I hope everyone out there too
Thank you.
will follow these links, learn more about their work. I hope
you.
you'll continue to work. And of course, you'll be safe, or as safe as possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.